Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon. I am the infamous Miss Rhoda Young Live. Yes, you heard that right. I am Rhoda Young Live. Well, I'm here in Portsmouth, Virginia, with another mayor-elect who will be the next mayor for the city of Portsmouth, Virginia. It is my great pleasure and my opportunity to introduce you to Danny Meeks here in Portsmouth, Virginia.
Hey, thank you for having me out today. I asked some of my friends to join us that has helped me work up my campaign and been friends with me since I was a kid.
Wow. Hey, Danny. Can you introduce me to some of your friends that's here, like Green, right here in the corner?
Jermaine Green, right here to my right. This is Keisha, been a long-term friend of mine since we're in elementary school. Marlon Milligan is known as Kojak. Melvin he owns the district. So all of these are friends of mine that owns businesses, are very embedded in the community. They definitely care about the community, not just on the business aspect, but the future of Portsmouth also. They also are very concerned with today's youth, as small as the small kids entering school, all the way to the teens getting out of school, and they want to make sure I push for something for them kids to have something to do. Definitely pushing VOTEC back in schools and having those kids to have an opportunity to be an asset to society versus a liability.
Okay, Danny. So you have a lot of black friends I see surrounding you here. How long have you been knowing Mr. Green?
At least 30 years,
30 years.
32 years.
Yes, I'm right.
How long, Keisha, you say?
Yeah, Keisha, we went to elementary school, so that's going to be about 40 some years.
Also,
I didn't drill down. You never tell a woman's age.
yes,
you
yes, you
know what
like
I'm saying?
it.
Me and Kojak have been friends. His grandmother lived at the end of my street, so we've been friends since we were in our early teens, or maybe 9, 10 years old.
And also, this young man right here.
Melvin is, I met Melvin about 20 years ago, I say by now, and we've been business partners and just dealing back and forth and knowing each other, and he definitely is very known in the public. He's definitely he provides jobs, and he's got a great restaurant in the district. So everybody here have been friends of mine for many years. They know me very well. I could pack 2 or 3,000 people in a room, and of friends from kids on up. My mom's friends. My mom worked at a place called Cornet Casual. She worked on the line, clothing line, making shirts and stuff, and over at London Fog. And she met a lot of people's parents and grandparents and friends, and they've been our friends for years.
Okay, guys. Right now we're out here interviewing Mr. Meeks, Mr. Danny Meeks. He is running for to be the mayor of Portsmouth, Virginia, here in Portsmouth. I came out to meet him because of the fact that people spoke so highly of Mr. Danny Meeks. They say he know more about the projects than any other person that's running for office right now. He can name every street in the projects. He's not just running for mayor and now surrounding himself around the black community. He has always been a positive influence within the black community. Can I say that's true?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
What makes you special? What makes you think we should vote you in the office to be the mayor?
I think it starts with my upbringing. I think it's the way my mom and dad raised me. They definitely made sure that I knew that everybody was created the same and equal. And my mom and dad definitely always invited all the kids to the house that we grew up to. Didn't matter where you're from, this, that, whatever. We didn't have a lot of money. But at the end of the day, my parents raised me to make sure if we didn't have, we definitely helped. And growing up through the neighborhood, we played, through Howland Biltmore. We went not Howland Biltmore, but Highlanders when they closed Highlanders Craddock. But I excelled in some of the different sports. So you want to play with the best talent. A lot of times, the best talent was in the project.
It was. It really was.
And we had some of the best talent in Hampton Roads, or probably even the state, that never even had an opportunity because they never had a look. And I know that for a fact. I know a lot of my friends came from Academy Park, Washington Park, Southside, Ida Barbara, Jeffrey Wilson, and they were great talent. They had one league at one time was called the Gibson League. Remember that league? I would tell you, it was a lot of talent, and they never got the proper opportunity. If the kids, when I grew up, had the opportunities kids today, the 7 cities would be blowing up with stars. I mean,
wow. So tell me some different opportunities. Tell me some different opportunities that you have that you had back in your time that the kids do not have now. And speak up when you talk about it.
Yeah, one, education. That was one.
Mm-hmm.
2, I feel like we could play any type of sports, and you know, when I was raised, it was like this. You got up in the morning in the summertime, you went to play. All right, you had to be home at the street lights.
Right.
All right. When you're outside, you drink for the water spigot. All right, I gave you lunch at lunchtime.
Yes.
Whoever was out there.
Yes.
All right, out that. You get in trouble, you didn't get whooping from your house. You got whooping from everybody's house. By the time you got home, you're like, you knew you were messed up.
Yes, and
So-
Danny, do you remember this? Scared to go in the house get a glass of water because you didn't want to stay in the house.
Exactly.
That's why we drunk out the water spigot.
Exactly.
Every
And-
minute count.
And look, and you know, when I grew up, we had a Sherman Lee. They called him Tank in high school. His mom was a candy lady. All right, so we had one of the most talented guys in Hampton Roads teaching us how to play basketball, baseball, and football. All right, and his mom was a candy lady. So you know you stay close to the candy lady.
Right,
all
right.
You had to get the icy. You know, had to get the candy. But you know. And we had a community. It didn't matter if you were from KP, Badawee, wherever. We had a community. I mean, I was just talking to Marlon Mills today. His nephew was in an incident over last week or so. But you know, when my mom died in January, it was a lot of my friends I hadn't seen in a long time came out because my mom put such an impact on their life.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
and that's that makes me different.
What are some of the things that you intend to bring to the city of Portsmouth, Virginia, once you become mayor of Portsmouth?
Well, one thing I talked to this, and you know the thing is, when I had my first come out where I was running for mayor, we had it at Mario's, all right, and I had a lot of my friends there, and I talked a certain language to them. But when I went to the beach when Bruce Thompson threw my thing, and you had all of these delegates and all of these different senators and delegates there, I talked the same language. And they said, Meeks, I ain't gonna lie to you, I didn't think you were gonna bring that up. Because see, we're a very diverse city.
Okay.
Very. All right. When I was on city council, we did this disparity study. The disparity study, right? What it did was it said, all right, look, you do this disparity study. Now we can actually introduce companies. I mean, we can give companies a percentage of contracts by law. So now what we're going to do is, we did not finish that piece. We did the study, but they never implemented. Now you're talking about Shannon Glover. He's been on council 2 years. Why hadn't he finished the disparity study?
Wow.
Right? I mean, he's a minority.
Right.
Why didn't he push the disparity study to finish up to implement it in the contracts? That's what you got with me.
Wow.
One thing I want to do is make sure that disparity gets implemented in those contracts, so 20% of every contract with the city of Portsmouth goes to a minority company.
Wow.
But hold on, that also creates what? Jobs right here in the city.
Wow.
All right, so you have to have a place for these kids to go, but we got to teach them the trade. They can't just go to high school with no knowledge, no education, and then flip right into a job.
Right.
Because they're gonna say, "Oh, you don't know what you're doing. We're gonna throw you back out." All right. Guess what? He's gonna go find something to do. Probably not the right thing to do.
Right.
So what we have to do, if one thing I want to push, and I've teamed up with Sarah Duncan Hines and some other people, Willie Vanberg and I can't think of Willie Vanberg and Angelia Allen and DeAndre Barnes.
What type of work do you do right now? What type of work do you do right now for the city? Is it true that you used to be a city councilman?
I was. Yep.
What happened to that? Why did you give up your city councilman seat? People are wondering, why did you quit?
Yeah. Well, one, when I got on city council, I had a 12-year-old and a 4-year-old. All right. While I was on council, I had 2 more kids. All right. They're both in diapers, and my wife said, "Look, this is what you want to do. I'll support you, but right now I need help at the house."
Okay.
All right. I got now this time one was 8, one was 16. You know what's going on with 16-year-olds? It gets curious, so
Right.
I want to make sure I'm taking care of my home. My wife had 2 in diapers. If you're a mother, you understand. You got 2 in diapers, you're carrying around with hips all the time.
Right.
Somebody has to be moving the mother 2 around.
Right.
And I'm very active with my kids. I want them to be playing sports. I want them to be playing piano, dance, and stuff like that. So I had to take care of my house. So I didn't seek re-election. Do I think I would have won? Yeah, I would have won. I got 21,000 votes. I worked my ass off when I was on the city council. All right, we did. When I got there, the previous administration, they borrowed. We had to borrow $250 million because the previous administration was letting the city manager balance the budget out of retirement. All right, that means the retirees' money was getting stolen by the city.
Wow.
All right, and that was going to affect our bond rating. One thing none of your people have talked about is the bond rating. If our bond rating goes up, the cost of money is going to go up that we need to get to have to run the city. Some of the other things we did was we did the $6.8 million, $6.4 million for the reoccurring technology fund. The reoccurring technology fund is now we're compatible to Virginia Beach in the technology. All right. We also grabbed $1.8 million to help the single moms, but we also benefited from grabbing the kids at 3 and 4 now versus 5 and 6. We did that in 14, 15. 4 years later, it's paying off because why? Those kids are passing their SOLs.
Wow.
All right, so the stuff that people don't know, and we can talk about the police. When I was on city council, we made sure the city employees got raises every year. They have not had a raise since I left.
Let me ask you this. Why is the city of Portsmouth Fire Department one of the lowest paid fire departments across the board, across the 757? What can you do to, what is your plans as far as targeting the Portsmouth Portsmouth Fire Department? It's hard for Portsmouth, Virginia to keep employees on the fire department because they're the lowest paid across the board.
All right, so I don't mean to correct you, but it's not just the fire department. It's every city employee is the lowest paid in the region.
In the whole region, Portsmouth is the lowest paid.
The city workers, that the utilities, the trash, all of them are underpaid. All right?
Wow.
In the last 4 years, all they've been getting a bonus. A bonus does not do nothing for the retirement system for their retirement.
Right.
A bonus is say, here's your $500. By the way, we're going to tax half of that. Enjoy your $250. When you get a 3 or 4% raise that we've done every year when I was on city council, not only did you get that raise every year, it went up. It helped your retirement. You follow me? They have not done that. And get back to the fire. All right. Police and fire had a step plan, and we implemented back in place. All right. Now they're 4 years behind me. All right.
Wow.
But what people don't talk about, to make one officer or one fire guy go through training, it costs us $60,000.
Wow.
All right, $60,000. So right now, just on the police, we're 80 short.
Wow.
That's $4.8 million. So, me as the mayor, what I'm going to recommend, this. We go out and we do a recruiting. We pay a bonus. We pay a bonus for signing bonus to get the officers to come in, right?
All right.
To get the officers to come in, give them a $10,000, $15,000 bonus. We'll save $45,000 to $50,000 per officers by giving them a signing bonus. But what we have to do is increase our officers' pay by $10,000 because we're between $10,000 and $14,000 behind the other regions.
Wow.
So we go out and give a signing bonus. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to lose the officers we got.
Right.
All right. So it's and one thing we have to do as a city, we have to go back and retrain our officers to with today's technology. A kid can hit a button and he can call out 1,000 people to be in one place like that.
Wow.
All right. We have to start training these officers when they go to a scene and the violence hadn't started yet because of whatever reason. We escalate it down, not start being the officer to press to make it into something what it is.
Right.
Because right now, I mean, our streets are hot in Portsmouth.
Right.
All right? I mean, 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago this week, 100 shots rang out in Southside.
Wow.
Last week I got a call. Hey, Mr. Meeks, is anything, can you get the sheriff out here because the police ain't coming? The police ain't coming. It was 12 shots out of Calvin Rander's ball field. They're practicing.
Wow.
All right. So I'm not saying that
but what do you offer? What do you offer? What would you be offering? What would you be offering to the city of Portsmouth, Virginia, with the crime rate and the gun violence so high? What would you be bringing to the table to try to even this thing out, slow it down, or calm it down?
All right. So it's a couple of steps. One, all right. The churches in Portsmouth, 25% of Portsmouth's land is owned by churches.
Okay.
All right. So just think if you have a corporation, all right, you got a 100% shareholder, right? And you start breaking that pie up. 25% of Portsmouth is owned by the churches. They don't have a voice.
Wow.
All right. The next biggest landowner, or the biggest landowner, are the communities. So you got to go back to your civic leagues. All right.
Right.
You got to start having dialogue with them. But you got to bring in some friends like I have right here, business owners, educators, people that are invested in the city. They could live in, everybody in this room could live somewhere else. You know where they choose to live?
Where?
Right here.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
You know why? They love this place. They care about this place.
Wow.
This is the thread that they're from. They're built from Portsmouth.
Wow.
And we're talking about education. When we look, I was just talking to Dr. Evans.
Mm-hmm.
Over, he was helping his daughter, his niece Yolanda Edmonds, that is running for school board, and we were talking. Like his wife, Miss Edmonds, was my 7th grade teacher.
Wow.
All right, she could live anywhere she wanted. She wanted to teach the kids of Portsmouth because she was from Portsmouth. She loves Portsmouth, and she wanted to make sure the kids that had the proper education. We don't have that no more in our schools. What we have is we have a 3-year plan. We pay the newest teachers a house amount. They stay there for 3 years, and then they go to Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, and Norfolk, and then they say, look at how good those schools are. Look, but the teachers started here. We didn't pay to keep them.
Wow. And when you say didn't pay to keep them, what do you mean by?
They did not pay to retain. What we have to do is we have to make sure we put a pay program in place so these teachers don't leave over money. We need to start paying for talent. Our teachers are underpaid too. All right, I want not to call them out. I know he just got here, but Coach Baker is. I think everybody in this room has ran across him one way or the other, a mentor, and he is die hard for the kids of Portsmouth. I mean, true blue. Look, this man has touched more lives and done with no credit for nothing.
Can I ask you this right here? I got sidetracked. I'm sorry. But let me ask you, what about the lost souls, the 16 to 21-year-old teenagers out there? What about them? I feel personally they lost. I feel as though they're giving up on themselves. I believe that their education level didn't reach higher than 8th grade.
Or lower.
Or lower.
Yep.
I feel as though they gave up so early in life that they cannot vision themselves going nowhere because they're so far behind.
Yeah.
When they should be right now graduating from high school or already have graduated from high school, yet they haven't finished middle school. What do you have to offer?
The city needs to partner up with different 501c13s that know how to handle these kids and get them into trade school. And the schools in the city need to partner up with these groups, these 501c3s, and say, all right, look.
But it's going to take, Mr. Meeks, I hate to cut you off. It's going to take an individualized program to catch the attention of these youth. They're not going to just walk into a regular school building. No. They're not going to walk into a regular trade center. They're going to need someone to come in here and design and implement a program designed and target just for them. It's going to have to be inspirational. It's going to have to catch their attention. It's going to have to be a roadmap set out. And they're going to be able to see their future, down the road. Where if you give us this much amount of your time, in 6 months, you'll have your GED. And once you get your GED, if you give us 6 more months, then you're going to have this trade. And if you give this much time, we got city jobs, the police department. The reason why the city don't have enough police officers is because your youth in the city of Portsmouth are running around here uneducated. I think education is going to be the key.
Very, very, yes. But I gotta take you back.
Go ahead.
So the reason the $1.8 million I said before, we wanted to catch the kids at 3 and 4 because see, forward thinking and having friends like Coach Baker telling me about what's going on with the youth, the school, this, that, whatever. When we catch the kids at 3 and 4, and when they get into kindergarten, they already know how to count.
Right.
They already know, so we are preparing them earlier.
Okay.
Now it was a lost generation.
Right.
All right. What we have to do now is we have to go back and say, all right, how can we reset? Because you have to get that kid before he's 4. In fourth grade, they figure out what's cool. Right. They figure out, hey, that's Nike. I got to do what I got to do to get Nike. And by the 6th grade, they're already doing stuff they shouldn't be doing to go get a brand. But what we have to teach these kids, we make the brand worth the value. The brand costs, that tennis shoe costs us $10. We're the one that says, hey, we'll buy that shoe for $150. Wow. All right, we have to educate the kid to understand that it's only merchandise. Right. And at some point in time, we have to start putting value on life versus material. Right. And that's why you have to have these churches bought in. You have to make sure these fabrics.
But back to the question.
Yes.
What about the ones that's already lost out there? What can we? How can we get to them?
We have to team up for an outside partnership, like a 501c3 that handles these kids, and say, look, what can we come up to? What can we design to grab these kids' attention? Because look, now they're already out in the world. Right. They already think everything's cool. They're watching social media. Social media, I'm gonna tell you, a lot of it's poison. Right. I mean, it's just, hey, I want that car. You see that dude, what he's doing. You see that kid's doing that. He's 16, I'm the same age. I'm doing this. We gotta figure a way to connect to those kids. All right. And I don't mean nothing by this, but a 45 and up person is going to struggle to relate to that 16-year-old kid. Right. We have to now dial back down to the mid-20s and says, all right, we got to come up with a solution or a plan that you can relate to that kid. Somebody, like I had one of my friends, Chuck Johnson, Nip's brother, Chucky. He called me. He said, look, man, we got to come up with a group with some of the old heads relating down to these younger kids because they're off the chain, Dan. Right. They are off the chain. And we got to come together as a community and we got to explain to them, look, we've been where you are. Right. We've done what you're doing. Right. And we got to start relating to them because what they think, these bigger guns and these bigger clips is cool.
Danny, why should the black community consider you or vote for you as mayor? What? I mean, because a lot of people will say, well, he's a white guy. Hey, get out of here, white man. We ain't voting for you. Why should the black community, just being real, because, you know, people do judge the book by its cover, but you're more blacker than anything in this room, just listening to you. Right now, I can tell, I'm surprised your wife is white. I did see the kid's picture. You got more, you know. But, you know, you for all people. And you was just brought up around the black community as well as the white community. So you diverse.
I'm very diverse. But at the same time,
they want to know, why should they vote for a white man?
Well, one.
Go ahead, go ahead, Coach.
Let me go back. I don't even know what you guys are doing. I just come out to see Danny. But you hit a nerve when you start talking about kids and education. Yes. And right now, it's a new day.
It's a new day.
I mean, we're into virtual learning, and as the kids say, it's a trip. Right. Some kids zoom in, they sit there, they don't want to do anything. Some kids will come in and you just see their name, they never show their faces. And being a physical education teacher, I'm trying to encourage them, I need to see your face, I need to see you doing something. So I'm going to ask Danny right here now, since you done struck this nerve, what would be some incentives that we can do for these kids? Because that's my mission right now, is to get some type of incentives for these kids to buy into this virtual learning. Right. That's what we need to start looking at, because we don't know how long this pandemic is going to be.
Great question.
Yeah, that's a good question, Bake.
Well, I was going to come to you about that, because what I did was I invited different people in the community to come to my virtual learning gym class. Yeah. I had a yoga instructor, misfit instructor, young man did boxing, young man did soup cans, exercises, trying to do something different to get their attention. Yeah. So, but now I need to go out to Chick-fil-A, restaurants, McDonald's, to get little certificates
cards,
or gift cards for them to participate and be active.
So let's go back to your question. First thing we got to do, Bacon, you're going to agree with this. We got to get parent involvement.
That's right.
If we do not get parent involvement, that 16 is going to go all the way back to 12. Because
Younger than 12.
Let me just tell you this. What's happening is them light bills still got to be paid.
Right.
That car payment's got to be paid.
Right.
So that mom and dad said, look, you're 12. You gotta learn. All right. So we already know a 12-year-old kid is not gonna type in, do what he's supposed to do at school-wise, right? So it has to get back to parent involvement.
But can I ask you this, then, Mr. Meeks? How can the parents get involved? They asking me personally. They're asking a lot of the parents. The parents, they're doing school hours is when the parents work. So they're asking a lot for the parents, and most of the parents are at work to keep the lights on, to keep the rent paid. Right. So the kids are home by themselves, and trying to educate themselves, like the coach said. But I want to say this. I do touch and agree with you on giving them incentives. Back in the days in school, when we all around the same age, when it was time to read, I didn't like to read a book, but when they had the Pizza program with Pizza Hut, and if you read a book and you completed it, you get a certificate. Yeah. And so I wanted that pizza.
Right.
So that's a good point that you made, some type of incentive, because the parents are at work.
But one thing to go back to say about what he asked about was, what are we going to do? We have to start teaming up with 501c3s and different outreach programs that, like he said, has already started. Because I'm going to tell you, the school system is struggling with the virtual learning.
Oh, yeah.
They can say, oh, we got it down. No, they don't. They do not. I talk to the teachers. I listen to the moms. They don't have it down. The parents are worried about what the kids are doing, because normally they'll be in school from 7 to 3 or 7 to 2:30, and they know they only have 2 hours to get in trouble. Right. Now they're saying, okay, what are they doing all day? Right. And then us as parents, because I have kids that are going through the same stuff. I'm thankful that my wife is sitting at home, or not sitting at home, but working with the kids with virtual. But I have employees that we try to work around their schedule to make sure they can go home, get back and forth. And it's more of a pressure on the parents, because not only they have to work, they have to go home and make sure their kids. So this, like he said, this is a new norm. The direction we have to go to, we're going to have to even create that even in the community too, because it has to get back to, Miss Jones lives at the corner. She told Miss Meeks that the 2 kids came out the house and was acting up. We don't have that no more. Now it's like, oh, they might come in there and they might shoot my house up tonight.
Right.
And that's just real talk. Right. But we have to get back into community policing ourselves.
Right.
All right. The police, when they come, just like you asked me about the monument. No, I was not at the monument. That's number one. But let me tell you what, if I was mayor and I had my dialogue with my spiritual advisors, my spiritual leaders that own 25% of the city, and I have a relationship with my civic league, I wouldn't have sent the police down there. Right. I would have sent I would have I wouldn't have by myself. I would have me, the city manager, the police chief. I had the preachers there in the civic league saying, why are you tearing up my city? What has got you so upset about this? We can come together and fix it. Right. We don't have that right now.
Right.
We have never had that in Portsmouth, that type of leadership. And what I'm telling you is that the forward thinking I am has made me successful in business like I am. And that's what we need right now. Not only successful in business, but my outreach in the community is crazy. I mean, just because I'm a product of this system. I went through the school system. I played sports here. I could live anywhere. I love Portsmouth. Right. And that's the part. I'm not saying these other guys don't.
Someone wanted me to ask you a question about, is it the mayor that you back up, or who is this? They kept talking about the mayor White, the senator. Who is it? They wanted to ask about your relationship with. Was
John Rhoda?
Senator Lucas?
Senator Lucas, yeah.
Senator Lucas. Senator Lucas is she's a senator. She needs to worry about the stuff in Richmond and let the local politics handle the local politics. That's why I'm going to ask you. All right. people have been in power in the city of Portsmouth for 24 years. What have you got? Look, now, you asked me a lot of straight questions, so I get to ask you a straight question.
Okay.
You've been here your whole life?
I've been in Norfolk.
Okay.
Okay.
But you've been around Portsmouth, right?
Yes. Yes.
The crime, the outcry that the youth are given right now, our public schools, our public security. Your taxes pay for what? Serve and protect.
Right. Good
water, right? It's supposed to give recreation to your kids. It's supposed to give you education for your children. Have we got that?
No.
All right. So, ask you the question. How should I feel as a taxpayer?
Right.
Don't worry about the political piece.
Right. Right.
All right. They done had the power so long. You got so much young talent running. They should have been pumping the pipeline with young talent, and they've been looking over the talent because they didn't want to release the power.
Wow.
All right. It's so much young talent out there I've met personally in the last 3 months running this campaign that's been involved with politics. You got people like Aaron Carter. You got Vernon Tillage. You got Yolanda Edmonds. You have you got DeAndre Barnes. I'm going to tell you right now, 8 to 12 years, DeAndre Barnes is going to be the mayor of the city because I'm going to do everything I can to put him in the seat.
Wow.
He is that embedded in the city.
Wow.
He loves the kids. And see, this is one thing we cannot do. We can worry about the casino and doing the waterfront and getting population. I know how to do that with my eyes closed. Mm-hmm. My phone list and my connections is unheard of compared. Shannon Glover, I think his phone book might be this big. Mm-hmm. All right. Paul Battle has always put his money where his mouth is. Great guy. All right. Mm-hmm. I can make 1,000 phone calls and everybody will come to Portsmouth. But if I'm not elected, they ain't coming.
Right.
They don't trust the politics.
Wow.
We can do all that, but what our main concern is these kids. It has to be the kids. Right. It has to be the schools. Because if you start, it takes $11,400 to educate one child per year.
Wow.
To house an inmate, $15,400.
Wow.
So what are we going to do? Let's educate the kids.
Wow.
All right. If our school board is letting our superintendent overinflate the administration and is not getting in there, I have to work with the school board. When I was on council before, we fought with the school board every time the doors closed. That's why I put my own ticket together. And I left one seat because it was a lot of talent. It's a lot of talent out there. For school board and for city council. But it's not the old regime. It's new. And these kids are forward-thinking kids. And I say they're kids because I'm older than them.
Right.
But they're between 24 and 36 years old. Right. And they're talented. And the old regime, instead of wanting to hold on to the power to the last minute, to their 80,
right.
They have skipped, and it's been more talent than these kids. Right. These kids just have social media and a louder bullhorn than the ones before.
Right.
And they're not going to get looked over. Because they're like, you don't support me, fine. I'm not going to be on that MLK ticket. That's fine. I'm going to go run my own campaign. And they're running, and they're better than the people they put on that ticket.
Right.
And guess what? They don't look like me.
Right. You made a good point. You made a good point when you said that, because I feel the same way. I feel a lot of people that's in office, you stay in office too long. I feel like you did a great job. Move on, let new people in that's ready to tackle what's going on in society today that actually can relate and is relatable to what's really going on. If you're 50, 70, 80 years old, been in there for 20 years, you set in your old ways and time has already changed and is leaving the mayors and the councilmen behind. We need some fresh meat, somebody that's energetic, somebody that's fun, somebody trustworthy, someone we can knock on their door, open door policy, and I can come in and speak to you about what's going on in our community. Technology savvy, and not utilizing your grandkids to do certain things. Back to you.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is this. I know I can call everybody at this table. At any time of the day, night, or whatever. Hey, what's going on? This, that, same way. They call me. I mean, this is Kenny. He just got here. Kenny Bullock.
How you doing?
This is actually Jensen Baker. We always call him Coach Baker. And they know if they have an issue, I got people I can call. Right? And we have always kind of worked as a group.
Right.
It don't matter what it was.
Right.
And see, I'm not in Southside, and I'm not in Lincoln Park and Dale's home, but I keep up what's going on. You know why? Because it's still they're fabric of this community. If you don't know what's going on in those areas, like we was on a debate the other night. Shannon Glover was, asked a question about Craddock, the crumbling of Craddock, and he was like, "Oh, well, it's not that bad." I'm sitting there going, right down Acton Square, look to the right. It's buildings that look just like Tony Goodwin's dad's has. They're all condemned and fallen in. And you could just watch his face like, oh, they caught me. Wow. He's not from here. He's lived here. Oh, I've been here for 30 years. No, you lived here for a little bit, you left, and you came back 4 years ago. All right? My thing is, if you're here, like me and Mr. Battle, you know what's going on. You know the people to reach out to find different stuff for them. You know what these kids, Paul Battle's always put his mouth where his, spent money on the kids, invested in the community, just like myself. That's why I tell everybody, I only respect two people running, and that's me and Paul Battle. And like I said, it's one question, and it's a running joke. How many streets were in Jeffrey Wilson? J-Dub, how many streets? They can't name them. It was one loot and one is a dead-end court. But you can't ask some people that. You could ask me and Paul, because we know, because we're from here. Out of Barbara, we started a church on County Street. We went from 10 people to almost 150 people, New Jerusalem Family Church. That church could have been one of the biggest churches in Portsmouth. But
Can I stop you for 1 second, please? I would like to ask each and every last one of y'all, just for like 1 minute or less of y'all time, why y'all think that the people of the city of Portsmouth should elect Mr. Danny Meeks. Can I start with you, please?
Hey, you sort of put me on the spot here because I've been knowing this guy for years. I coached him. He would never stop talking. Okay? And I always told him, I do not want politics to come between our friendship. And I'm getting to the point where I probably won't even vote for him. No, and that's serious because I just have it in my heart that he's going to win, that he is the man for this city. You know, you come down to black and white and all of that. That's what people say about Portsmouth. And I always say that I don't want to get into politics, but my brother tells me, boy, you right in the middle of politics in Portsmouth. So I just believe that, hey, Danny Meeks is the man. And like I said, I probably won't even vote for him. But I know he's going to win because it's not about politics between me and Danny Meeks.
Wow, just like that. But you better get your butt out there to the polls. I'm Rhoda Live. You heard that right. Before Waking News 10, Channel 3 and 13. Every vote count in the city of Portsmouth, and we need your vote right now.
Thank you, Ron.
You're welcome. That was a great question, great answer. Thank you, Mr. Green.
Yeah. With me, why I think people should vote for Danny Meeks. Listen, here's the thing. It's a strong racial divide in the city of Portsmouth. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The George Floyd thing. Now we have our own thing with the monument, and you know, most people like myself. If I didn't know a Danny Meeks, I would vote safe. I would vote for a black person. But the fact that I know a Danny Meeks, and I know he's friends with white folks, he's friends with black folks, and he has the know-how and the wit to bring everybody together. You know what I mean? And I think that's real important. You know what I mean? You can easily vote one way and feel comfortable, or you can vote another way and feel comfortable. But voting for a Danny Meeks actually will help the racial tension because he can identify with everybody here, and that's important. But most importantly, you know, he can advance the city from where it's at now. And this city needs growth. It's been stuck. You can't tell, other than Victory Crossing, man, this city been the same the past 30 years. There's no growth here, no business coming here. You know what I mean? I don't know about you, but I'm tired of paying high taxes. You know what I mean? If you got somebody that can bring taxes down, you know what I mean, bring the people together, you know what I mean, that sounds like somebody you should want to vote for.
Thank you, Mr. Green. 1 second, guys. Get over here to you. Thank you. I forgot your name already.
Kenny Bullock.
Mr. Kenny Bullock, we're trying to come through.
Yeah, take your time.
All right, and thank you again. Can you tell me why we should vote for Mr. Meeks here in the city of Portsmouth for mayor?
Well, first, I would look at this as a racial issue. I want to vote for somebody. I want somebody to be in office that's just the best person for the job. And at this point right now, Danny Meeks is the best person for the job. For me, it's not about race. I think that we've been here long enough. African Americans is only 13% of the entire population. So, it can't be about race at this point. I just think that if we want to excel, black, white, blue, green, any person with respect to the city of Portsmouth and take it to another level, and it has to be Danny. He's a great businessman. He knows business. And the people that's been there that has had the power for the last 30 years, like Jermaine said, they've done nothing for the city. They brought nothing to the city. Like he said, Victory Crossing was in the city, and before Victory Crossing was Tower Mall. And it has been nothing since then, and that's been about 40 years. Nothing downtown. Look at the downtown here in the city of Portland. I'm a business owner in downtown Portland as well as Melvin is. And we have 2 restaurants in downtown Portsmouth. And the thing about it is that nothing else has come to downtown Portsmouth. Nothing, not one thing. So, we have to help Portsmouth. And Danny, I feel like that Danny can help Portsmouth go to that next level. Just like you said, we need to bring the youth in. The partnership in certain different entities has been there for the last, like you say, 30, 40 years. It's just time for a change at this point. And it's not about race for me.
And what restaurant do you own downtown Portsmouth? And if they want to check you out,
It's the shirt.
all
Jokes
right.
on us.
Yokes on us. Are you on Facebook as well?
Yes, we're on Facebook and everything.
All right, and it's
my girlfriend is the owner. I'm just an employee. She's
You
the
the man
boss.
in the background. You the man in the
She's the boss.
background.
She's the boss.
All right, Yokes on us downtown
Yes, ma'am.
Portsmouth. We got to go there and do a taster, guys, and let y'all know
Yes,
how
ma'am.
delicious that restaurant is. How you doing, love?
Hello,
Can you tell your name is
Lakeisha McNeil.
Makisha McNeil? Can you tell us why the citizens of Portsmouth, Virginia, should vote for Mr. Danny Meeks as mayor of Portsmouth?
Well, I've been knowing him a long time, and I know that he will get the job done. Can I show you a picture right quick?
Yes, ma'am.
This picture right here is a picture that he had taken with my son 8 years ago, and he always been into positive things and helping the
I'm
kids.
sorry. This is a picture he took with your son 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you said he always been into positive things and helping the kids.
And helping the kids.
Now this 8 years ago with Mr. Danny, guys. Mr. Danny Meeks. Right here, already on the picture. He been doing this for a very long time. This thing just started today or a couple of weeks ago.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Sharing is caring.
Yeah.
You can continue.
And I just think I've been knowing him so long that I know it's not a racial thing. Because if it was a racial thing between us and Dan, and look at us, we all black. We wouldn't be here. Trust me. And these, like you said, he owns a restaurant. He owns a restaurant that everybody's in here is known in our city. And I feel personally that Danny will be the right person for mayor so we can get some of these things done for the kids and the positive things back in our city. He the man for it. That's it. There's nothing else to say.
And you heard that here first. Before Wavy News 10, Channel 3, and also Channel 13 News. Rhoda Young Life. Rhoda Young Life. I'm Rhoda Young Life, and I'm on the scene of this right now. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
What's your name for the county?
Marlon Milligan.
Marlon
Milligan.
Milligan. Welcome, Mr. Milligan. We want to ask you the same question as before. Why do you feel as though Mr. Meeks is the best person for the job as city mayor of Portsmouth, Virginia?
It'll go beyond the politics within him. I think just everyday life, regardless of the politics that we talk about the youth. Because I coach at Norcom, I coach at Churchland, Coach Part 1 and Coach Charleston, and he know how I feel about youth. And being a product of Coach Baker, and as well, we try to get the youth, and I told him we should concentrate, to me, on the preteens to the teens. Because if you concentrate on the preteens to the teens, and you have everybody's not built for college, but if you have that preteen and that teen, leading towards when they get out a vocational program.
Yep.
And you can have, if you get the preteens and the teens, the little ones will follow. You know why? Because the little ones will look up to them and say, okay, that my big brother, he working. My big brother, he's learning this. He learning HVAC. He learning shipyard trade. He's learning all different trades like that. So we'll get their youth with them. But to me, I would like to focus on the preteens to the teens. Because now all we have is if 7 or 8 year old looking at a preteen or a teen, and you see them on Facebook, they got 30-round clips. They got this. They're smoking weed. They're doing this on that. So to me, I would like to capture the preteens to the teens. And I think he's a good guy to do that by being a product of seeing that, you know what I'm saying? And I just think he'll be a good person to vote for as far as the youth.
They say they want to vote for you. Caramel chocolate. I would be Rhoda Young Live if they didn't say that.
Let's call him Kojak.
Kojak. Mr. Danny, they say they ain't forget about you. You're kind of cute over there too. Somebody say, they can smell some money. And you, last but not least.
My name is Melvin Williams.
Melvin Williams.
Yes. Fortunate, unfortunately. These guys will sum it up the young lady. You know, I've been knowing Danny for 15, 20 years. Great businessman. I look up to him, and I've been in business since 1994. He got great ideas. He's successful. He's a great guy. I'm past politics. It ain't politics to me. I think he's the best candidate, I think, or I know, for this job. And the city needs help. I'm from Portsmouth. I've been in Portsmouth for 50 years. And ain't no growth in the city.
Right.
Tower Mall is gone. The cross look crazy. Mid City gone. The area there, Walmart. Downtown Portsmouth. You go to any downtown Portsmouth, any downtown area in the city, it's movement. We don't have no movement. We don't have nothing. Shouldn't even be a jail downtown Portsmouth. We need some other things in the city, and I think he's the right guy to make those things happen. So me, Danny got my vote.
Is that right?
Yes.
They want to know, what's your restaurant?
You know, we sell soul food. It's great. Come try it.
What's the name of it?
District.
District.
Yes.
The District, downtown Portsmouth.
Yes, sir. Yes,
He
ma'am.
said, come on now, this is Mr. Melvin, right?
Yes, ma'am.
This Mr. Melvin, he's shy and he's bashful, guys, but guess what? Quiet mouth speaks a lot of volume. Come on and try out the District, downtown Portsmouth, his restaurant. He say also, vote for Mr. Meek. As you see everybody at this round table, for whoever said something about the COVID-19, I told y'all before they got the mask on, but stop looking for the negative and look for the positive. When you're looking for the negative, you're going to always find that. I am the infamous Miss Rhoda Young Live, and it's been my pleasure to bring and introduce you to Mr. Meeks. We're going to ask Mr. Meeks a couple more questions before we get out here. And Mr. Meeks, the citizens of Portsmouth, Virginia want to hear you loud and clear. Why do you think they should vote for you for the mayor position in Portsmouth, Virginia?
For one, we have a group that's going to develop the waterfront. And we're going to create a technology zone for the millennials a bit of comeback. We have Google, Oracle, and a handful of other technology companies that want to create a technology zone in Portsmouth downtown. And we're looking to put between 700 and 800 homes down there with restaurants and office space down on the waterfront. We also look to build a new jail for Sheriff Moore behind the courthouse. And one thing I want to push Sheriff Moore to do, if he agrees to it, because nobody can tell the sheriff to do, but we need to get VOTEC back in those places too. Because what's happening is, when we went to school, some of the most talented people that we knew ended up in that brick building they call a jail down there.
Yeah.
All right. They had all kinds of talent, but they never had the right opportunity. All right. They knew how to do math. They knew how to do logistics. They knew how to organization. They had trustworthy friends and a group. All right. But they never had the opportunity to put it in a legit legal business. Right. So one thing I want to make sure, I work with Sheriff Moore and put some type of VOTEC back. So when they come out, we actually rehabilitate the people to come out of jail, so they have an opportunity and they have confidence versus going back to the streets. And I'm not talking about going to work at McDonald's or KFC or Burger King. I'm talking about
Real job.
real jobs. All right, and you're oh well, he's gonna be marked as con or in jail. Okay, they don't have to go in the shipyard, but they can work outside the shipyard.
Right.
We got machine shops outside. We got AC guys outside. We got lawn. We got truck driving. We got different VOTECs that we can teach these these grown men actual trade, so they don't go back into jail. All right, I want to build him a new jail. I already have a plan where it does not cost the taxpayers $1.
Wow.
All right, I gave that plan to Sheriff Moore, and I think it's a doable and a legitimate plan, and I want to put it directly behind the courthouse, so we don't have to transport the prisoners and cost the citizens any more money. Creating a technology zone downtown. Right now, when the kids that do go to college, now you got to understand, you got several different type of kids. You got some kids that want to go to college and can't afford college, right? You got some kids that are going to get scholarship and go to college. You got some that are going to be able to pay, but you got some kids that don't want nothing to do with college.
Right.
That's why we have to help with the VOTEC back in schools. You follow me?
Right.
So the VOTEC at this day and time is more important than almost bringing businesses back. So you can teach the kids a trade. You can teach the inmates that getting out of jail a trade. And we what we have to do is make sure we let the inmates, when they come out, they rehabilitate to come back to be positive in the community. All right. So you have somebody that understands those.
They want to
factors.
know about why has it been so many years that y'all haven't had a mall here in Portsmouth, Virginia. It causes the taxpayers so much money going through the downtown tunnel. It costs the taxpayers so much money going in and out the downtown tunnel just trying to get to Norfolk to go shopping. Why haven't nobody ever thought about bringing another mall back here in Portsmouth, Virginia, or even an outlet mall?
Yeah, well, the main problem we have here is the people, the businesses like having a mall here, they don't support it. You follow me? Right now, I think it's only two places you can get a suit in Portsmouth for a man. All right, and a woman dress shop. You got some boutiques, but it's no real dress shops either.
What have you ever thought about? What can you offer to the city of Portsmouth as far as the downtown shopping or
when you bring in Breeden and some of those other guys to develop their waterfront, all right, you're going to shove a lot more people downtown, and that's going to organically grow those businesses, because those people are going to. You already have, I think it's about 7 to 10,000 people down there. You're going to impact another probably 2,500 people downtown. You only have one grocery store downtown. That's a Food Line by Norfolk.
Right.
All right. So what I would like to see is a grocery store down there and some shops down there, because when the design to Breeden and I'm saying Breeden because that's who I've been talking to. It's several other developers that want to go there. Yeah. But at the same time, I have to have the support of 3 other council members to move forward. So
it takes 4 council members.
It takes 4. It takes 4. I have to make sure that I have
4 councilmen.
It takes 3. It takes 4 votes.
Okay. Do that consist of 1 councilman, also the mayor, or
no? It's
is
just
there
4 majority. It don't matter.
Majority meaning
you gotta have 4. Yep.
4 councilmen.
Yep. It's 7 people. It's 7 between the mayor and council. It's 7. And you got to have a majority vote to move forward.
Okay, so 6 councilmen and 1 mayor.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. A lot of people don't. A lot of us don't know that, so we're learning.
Yeah, and let me say, and what Danny's trying to do, Danny's trying to bring national people here. You know what I'm saying? Like P.F. Chains and Cheesecake Factory and McCormick and Smith's. Those chain restaurants and some of those chain type of retail shops. You know, so people don't have to travel through the tunnel and pay all those fees and things like that, those toll fees and stuff like that. And we can keep everything right here in Portsmouth. That's what his vision is. Yeah. And people have to understand and see into that vision. We haven't had that since Mayor Holly.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, come on. You know,
Massimo Zanetti was the last big business that Dr. Holly brought in.
Exactly.
And he would spend his own money to fly over the pond. and meet with these people and entice them to come in.
Sure.
You know, we're going to have the fastest internet on the East Coast. Did you know that?
No. What do you mean by that?
The fastest internet. It's a 27-mile loop. It's coming in from over in Europe. It's coming through Virginia Beach and back out Portsmouth.
Wow.
In the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to have the fastest internet on the East Coast. All right, the fastest.
They say,
That's why those technology companies want to be here, and they want. See, we already have an opportunity zone downtown and a hub zone downtown. Now we put this right in the middle of a technology.
You got to stop you here. You have a technology.
No, we don't have a technology. We have to create. We have an opportunity zone.
Okay.
For so new business is called opportunity zone.
Oh, thank you.
Then it overlaps the hub zone.
And what's hub?
Hub is like it's a set aside that the federal government gives you, and you get tax breaks, and if you hire people within a certain region, mile radius from the job. But we're going to create a technology zone. All three of them are overlapping. So whatever businesses we get to come in, like your Google, your Amazon, and all of that, they get tax benefits, not state but federal. All right, and that's what these big businesses want. They want those tax breaks. All right.
Someone say they see you have done your homework. You're very well educated on a lot of stuff. You're very diverse. They say you know your numbers. Whatever you talk about, you can back it up with education. And education is the key. But also they say I'm Rhoda Young Live.
It's street education.
Street education.
I didn't go to college. Went right out of school, started my own business.
Wow, straight out of college, started your own business.
No, straight out of high school. Never went to college.
Straight out of high school, started your own business. You said it's street knowledge, and you taught yourself this by just loving the politics lifestyle.
No,
but
I was never a politic. I was never in politics. 8 years ago, they started messing with me about my backyard. Then I had to go look about my pool, and it was the city manager at the time. His wife didn't like the traffic of the trucks, and they gave me a permit and took it back. Almost like, well, we have to do one thing not to get off subject. We have to fix our fourth floor. Our fourth floor is our clog of our growth of our city. That's planning and zoning. All right. They rather hinder a growth of a city than actually do their job. But as your mayor, I'm telling you, they're going to do your job, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit in on the 6th floor every day, and if it's an issue, I'll go down there and have a meeting with the city manager. I cannot direct her to do nothing, because you have a rule. You can ask but do not task. But if I have 4 votes, then I can say, hey, this is what I would like to do. It's going to be, Portsmouth has to change. But we have to change right now. Our parks and recs, we ain't laying nobody off. They're getting fully paid, and we don't have the first gym open for these kids. We don't have the first hoop on the first basketball goal for these kids, but they're fully getting paid. All right, if you're fully getting paid, every other city's got basketball hoops up. Every other city has a recreation. Okay, it's certain times and certain many people, but they're giving their kids an opportunity to go play, exercise, or whatever. We have nothing right now giving our kids. And our park and recs is not doing nothing but sitting there getting a check.
Wow. And you heard it here first, before Wavy News 10, Channel 3, and also Channel 13 News, for Mr. Danny Meeks himself, who is right now running for office as the city mayor here in Portsmouth, Virginia. I am the infamous Miss Rhoda Young Live, and it was my pleasure coming out here, speaking with him and also his team and his friends on why y'all should vote for Mr. Meeks as your next mayor. As you see it for yourself, he's well diverse, guys. He's diverse across the board. He wants to connect the dots between the 4th floor and the 6th floor inside of the city hall. Yep. He wants to make sure that planning and zoning is actually working with the mayor and their committee to make sure they give the city of Portsmouth residents the opportunity of growth. But I'm Rhoda Young Live, guys. You know, I'm out here for y'all, but I'm also messy. So we got to get to the messy part of the Rhoda Young Live show. Here you go. Everyone wants to know that day about the book bags and the desk and the school paper and all of that. You was a part of it, and what happened?
It was real simple. I got a phone call from Mr. Battle. He had school supplies that he already had stored. He wanted to give them away before the COVID hit. Before the kids went back to school after the COVID. He said, look, I don't give out these composition books and different things. And I said, no problem. But you know me, I'm not gonna go empty-handed. I went out that morning, bought rulers, calculators, and glue and some different supplies. I drive up. The people there helped me unload my table. They were helping me set up my table. And one of the ladies said, you know, if you're coming, you should have called me. I said, well, Mr. Battle said he had a whole bunch of supplies that he had for the kids before school, before the COVID. I mean, after this COVID, to help the kids get back to school, and he wanted to give them out. And this was a city event, and the city had 50 desks, so he wanted to give his portion out, and he invited me to come along. So that's what happened. Right. Now, however it gets twisted, twang, whatever, just like, because, you know, it's Portsmouth politics, you know, I totally understand, but the reason I was out there was me and Mr. Battle was giving away the supplies Mr. Battle already had previous bought way before any of the desks even was a conversation, or even thought of, but he was unable to give his supplies out, and he said, hey, come out. And, you know, me and Mr. Battle have talked for months and months and months and months, and we have the same goal, and that's to help better Portsmouth than what it's been in the last 30 years.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to say to social media about voting for you, or anything else that you feel like we didn't touch or we didn't cover?
When it comes to this election, if you have not seen no change in Portsmouth in the last, it is time for you to really pay attention here. It's an opportunity to really change the face of Portsmouth in all of the elected positions, not just the mayor, but the city council and the school board. Do your homework. Find out who exactly is running. All right. Nobody, out of all your interviews, nobody talked about, do your research on me. Look who I am, what I stand up for, what I've done for the community, what I've done in the community. You know, I built a recreation center in Craddock. You know, I've brought different companies to Craddock. But I don't want notoriety for that. You know why? I want to benefit the kids and the public and the living of Portsmouth. I want Portsmouth to be, it's no reason we cannot be Virginia Beach. All right? We have, our whole entire city has a water line. I mean, we're surrounded by water. All right? We don't have a beach, but we still have water. We still have a lot of opportunity. We are the center of Hampton Roads. And before our city council gave everything away, we gave Harborview away. That used to be Portsmouth. Western Branch. We gave all that stuff away. All right? We have to stop giving stuff away, and we have to start giving stuff to our citizens. Like right now, we have the pavilion downstairs, downtown. Why aren't we giving gospel concerts to the community? Why ain't we giving R&B and jazz concerts? We own the place, okay? So that right there would not only be, it would be economic growth, because guess what's going to come down? People are going to come down. Guess where they're going to spend money? At our restaurants. Yeah. All right. People will come in and stay at our hotels. I'm not saying charge events. I'm saying free events. Wow. All right. To bring. That's the type of mayor that I want to be. I want to be, you know what, I know we're going to have three concerts a year that the city's going to put on. But it's going to benefit, one, it's going to make the citizens feel, hey, you know, I love Portsmouth. All right? This is what they do here. You know, and that's a big key to me. So you're saying, like, if the city put on free events for the pavilion that they already own, it'll bring economic growth to the small business. Organically, yep, that's right. You know, I mean, and everybody thinks, you know, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot to move the ball forward. But I know we can surround ourselves with good people. They want to know about the tolls, though. The tolls. Everybody that's watching this, go to Meeks versus VDOT. All right. Everybody's got a phone. Google Meeks versus VDOT. I was there in the very beginning. I put $50,000 of my own money to stop the tolls when it started. The case is Meeks versus VDOT. All right, I know every aspect of that toll. I know when the smoking gun came out about the toll. All right, the smoking gun was the TIF bond letter that our mayor signed at the time and gave them the permission to get funding for the tunnel. All right, we didn't find that out until it was time to go to court. The citizens of Portsmouth are going to pay for that tunnel for 53 years. Right now, the state has an opportunity to buy it from ERC for $1.6 billion. That's the only if you put all the citizens together, we could buy it, but that's not going to work either. We got to talk realistic. The state is negotiating a deal right now with ERC to buy it right now for $1.6 billion. All right. When it came to the monument, I'm the same guy that said I'll move it. They said it was $250,000 tag. I said I'll move it for free. It wasn't over anything political. I was watching my city get tore apart for no reason. When I say no reason, they had an opportunity to move it. They didn't. They did not make the decision. They did not make the decision to move it. All they had to do was make the decision. If they had said, look, I'm going to move it on June 10th or June 34th or July 15th. They didn't make a decision.
Someone said, what about the homeless community? What do you have to offer for the homeless community?
Last night, I was in a deep conversation on the internet, and you'll see where we place that we, as City of Portsmouth, we need to have dialogue with our churches. But the City of Portsmouth cannot lean on the churches to have a homeless shelter. The City of Portsmouth needs to team up with an Oasis or another organization and build a 100-bed facility. Yeah. You can build a 100-bed facility for a lot less than what people are saying. You can put up a metal building just like this, put 100 beds, divide it off. I mean, it's going to cost money, yes. But our homeless people, right, they are homeless because they either...
Yeah, they were once taxpayers too.
Yep,
so.
they were taxpayers too. The homeless people have just as much right as the person that lives in the house.
Wow.
And we have to make sure we take care of our homeless community. When I was on council, Mayor Frame.
Somebody want to get through the question. They say you've been here about an hour, so you want to get through some questions
right,
real quick.
Yep.
They say, what about the COVID-19 in your city?
The COVID-19 right now, that's we got the guidelines from the governor right now. We have to follow them. I think social distancing work, the mask is helping. I know right now, I think the schools they need to do a slow roll back, starting to come back, like the city of Chesapeake and Virginia Beach.
They also want to know, do you know Tupac?
I know Tupac. Come on, really?
Yeah,
Tupac?
they want to know. Yeah.
Yes, Tupac. Yes, I do know Tupac.
Yes, all right,
Yeah.
all right. Someone says your wife white or black?
White.
His wife is white,
Yeah.
guys. Is any more questions out there, y'all, that y'all want to ask him while we're here? We got the floor open, guys.
You never know what they're going to ask.
Yeah,
Hey.
you know, one thing about my followers is like,
Hey, I'll ask them whatever. They can ask anything they want.
okay, deep Paul, let me see. Ain't too much more. Oh, campaign stunts. All right, guys. One thing about Mr. Meeks, he wants you guys to know, he's very diverse. He's for all people in Portsmouth, Virginia. White, black, yellow, purple, green. It don't matter who you are. Mr. Meeks said he is the right one for the job. He didn't just start overnight when he started campaigning to be influence in the community. He had been doing this ever since he got out of high school and he started his own business. Mr. Meeks is very successful here in the city of Portsmouth, Virginia. Also, you heard that he had built the gym and he do a lot of work with the youth in our community. He also sat on the city councilman board, but when he felt as though him and his kids was going through, him and his wife was having and raising his kids when they was younger, he said he stepped down to assist his wife while she raised the younger ones. He was able to help out with the older ones. Mr. Meeks says he know every street name in all the projects. He done read the project streets. Just because he's white don't mean he haven't been through what we've been through. He want the white community to know he's there for them as well. He just wants y'all to know a change has to come, and it has to come now, sooner than later. He'll be the perfect candidate for the job because he's very diverse across the board.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And let me just say one thing to everybody that's watching this, and this just really sums it up.
Right.
What do you have to lose?
Wow, that's deep.
I mean, at this point, look at all of Portsmouth and what's happened in Portsmouth over the last 30 years.
Right.
Electing Danny Meeks. What do you have to lose?
Wow.
Wow.
Can't
That
even
sums it
go
up.
up.
Yeah. They gained in years.
Exactly. You can't go down no
and you know, it's real simple. All right, one of the candidates, he's been here for 4 years, and what has he done as his councilman? Nothing.
Cheap ring. That's what they want to know. Ask about cheap ring.
I'm about a policy and procedure person, and you cannot release somebody at that position based upon a Virginia Pallet story. Virginia Pallet has never gave the city of Portsmouth a good story. They always controlled the setting. They always controlled the pinnacle. They always controlled the tone of the situation. On this right here, Dr. Patton made a decision based upon, with no internal investigation, no police investigation, no state police investigation, based upon a Virginia Pallet story. All right?
They want to know, are you voting for Donald Trump?
Am I voting for Donald Trump?
Good question.
That's a good question. Hey, look, I want to tell you, I voted for Donald Trump the first time going around. I did not watch the whole debate. I watched clips of the debate. Everybody was saying Joe Biden was not going to keep it together. It's another debate to come up. Joe Biden went toe-to-toe, my understanding, for almost an hour and 30 minutes with Donald Trump. If Joe Biden holds this stuff together, I think he'll be the one that I think everybody's going to go with.
Somebody want to know, why doesn't the U.S. government take care of the property they own?
What's that?
Why the U.S. government don't take care of the property they own?
How about, let's talk about the city of Portsmouth.
All right. Someone said you got 3 votes straight out of their household.
All right. So the city of Portsmouth never maintains their buildings. All right. It don't matter. You gotta look at a gym. You gotta look at the school. They never put money aside to maintain the buildings. What they have to do is start putting money aside to maintain the buildings. It's cheaper to maintain a building to build a building. Every year, you will know, the buildings are the cost of materials are going up every year. Every year. So we start maintaining, we can get another 5 or 10 years out of our buildings versus replacing them because they get dilapidated, or we don't take care of a ventilation issue like we have in Churchland High School. So and one thing I will push as mayor is to make sure we put some type of funding in place for the maintenance of all of the public buildings.
They want to know about $15 minimum wage.
I don't set that. That's going to be a state. But, you know, anytime you have a $15 minimum wage, your price of goods are going to go up. Your competition is going to change. So basically, I will go with any guidance the state gives us or the federal government gives us. $15 minimum wage doesn't start at City Hall.
All right, guys. And I think that's the last question that came in. Oh, crime rate, the unsolved murders. What do you have proposed for that?
What was that? Say that again.
Crime, the murders and unsolved murders and things like that.
The crime rate in Portsmouth has increased to 26 murders this year, unlike last year. I think it was in the teens. But I really think we have to get back to police presence. I really think that we have to make sure we get the police presence in the proper neighborhoods. You don't need police presence in. You do need it. I don't want to say in Churchland. I'm just or you know, some of the smaller communities, and not put it in Southside or Washington or Dale's Home. You have to make sure you have it blended across Portsmouth, across the board.
I'm sorry, people are so funny on Facebook. Sometimes I walk away from the phone. I normally don't read my comments, but damn, I'm out here reading them. Somebody said you dancing around about that, also about Donald Trump. They want to know, are you vote for Donald Trump or not, and stop dancing around?
Yeah, I answered the question. I told him it would be based upon the next debate.
He says it will be based upon the next debate. Someone said some stuff out here to all of y'all. I would normally would not do this, but if I don't ask y'all this question, I won't be Rhoda Young Live.
Yes.
I would not be Rhoda Young Live. Are y'all ready for this question?
We ready.
They say all y'all sitting around the table, all y'all black folks sitting around the table ain't nothing but coons.
Hey, why would they call us a coon?
Good question. He said, why would you call him a coon?
I mean, for what reason? Now, for what reason? I mean, the thing about it is that, I mean, we all business people here. It's not like we come in here and we hold on, let me finish, homie. And we don't have, I mean, like we come in, we saying, listen, man, give us a kiss or give us up. We ain't broke in here. We business people. We make money just like Danny make money. You know what I'm saying? So me myself, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, don't really compete. They just chill out there. There's no cool in here. We you know what I'm saying? We're doing all right. Trust. You know what I'm saying?
He said goons, not cool.
One thing I want to make sure is these have been friends for years and years. These aren't somebody I just met 4 weeks ago or 5 months ago. I've been dealing with Kenny for 20 plus years, and that just goes to show is people out there that want to stir the pot for no reason. These are my friends. We eat together, we hang out together. I mean, hey, if you was out Lisa's 2 weeks ago, I went out there and hung out with Woo. The DJ out there knew 70% of the crowd. So I don't think any other candidate would go to Lisa's just because they just went. So let me ask you back. Why are you asking that question?
That's our man, guys. Yeah. Hey, go ahead, Green. What you gonna say about that coon? They called you a coon, cuzzo?
No, you know what? Listen. I was gonna say something, man, but listen.
I think I summed it all up for the whole. I summed it up for the whole. We really gotta keep on with that. Next question.
Next question is, guys. They want y'all guys to stop. Really, for real, guys out here at Facebook in my Facebook world. You know I love y'all. That's why I have to wait till I get home to read my comments, because y'all some fools, and I'm a fool right with you guys. Okay, but here's the deal, guys. They want y'all to stop and get out of that. That we've been brainwashed for years. Everything black people do is right. Everything black people do is not right. Red light, everything white people do is not right. It's time for us to get out of that tunnel vision. We always been tunnel vision. We just vote for this person because he's black. We just vote for that person because he's white. Stop it across the board. Stop it with the white people. Stop it with the black people. It's time that we vote for what's right for our community. Yeah. If you won't change in your community, it's time for you to vote for the people that's going to make change. Okay? Whether they're white or black. So guys, make sure you educate yourself. We're out here educating ourselves, and I'm bringing this stuff to you guys as I get educated. I'm not political like that either, but I'm learning, guys, and we're learning together. And I have brought this to the city of Portsmouth, to a city that I do not even reside in, and sat here while these politicians talk in my ear. I'm like, oh my God, damn God. Because I never knew about councilmen, but I want to know now. I want to know these things now. So I take time out to bring this stuff to you guys so I can educate you guys so we can have change in our community by learning how to vote for the right people and putting the right people in office. Not just because I'm going to vote for him because he's black like Donald Trump. Everybody, not Donald Trump, but Obama. Everybody came to the house, oh, Obama, he black. So we all came to the house to vote for Obama. Whether he was right or wrong, we came out to vote for him because he was black. Okay, Obama did good. We was blessed. However, it's not going to always be like that across. Okay, it's not going to always be like that across the board, guys. It's not going to always be like that across the board. We got to start educating ourselves. Like y'all sit down at this forum and y'all listen to these different candidates, give y'all what they want to offer to y'all. Now y'all got to go back, re-listen to the videos, listen to each and every last one of them, and see who have the best to offer for your city, and vote for the right person. I am the infamous Miss RhodaYoungTV, where it was my pleasure to bring you this forum here with Mr. Danny Meeks in Portsmouth, Virginia. They say vote Danny Meeks for the next mayor of Portsmouth, Virginia. Go back and do your homework. Look at all 3 videos and see who do you find to be the best person for that position. To me, I learned a lot today. So guys, make sure you vote right. Danny Meeks, and that's him. Vote for Danny Meeks as your next mayor.
Hey, hold on, I got one question for you. You've already interviewed all the mayor candidates. Who would you vote for?
Oh.
Hey, you like to be messy. You like to be messy. You like to be messy. There you go, Rhoda. I mean, I only asked one question. I let you throw darts at me all day.
All right. You know, everybody want to know, do I say Glover? Is Glover, Meeks, and
Battle?
I love me some white meat, so I'm gonna have to go with you, Mr. Meeks. I love me some white meat, baby. And I apologize to the wife. But right here now, guys, across the board, I just found you very, I'm gonna be honest, and it's nothing against nobody. I had the opportunity to sit down with all three. All three is outstanding, but the sad part about it is we only can choose one. And if I had to make my choice, if I was a citizen, no thought, no targets, no dots thrown at nobody, I would personally, not because I'm in your face, I would personally vote for you because you're diverse across the board. It seemed as though that me and you went to school together. Right. You know what I'm saying? I ran down the hallway throwing wet toilet paper at your damn head. Yeah. Right. I can imagine you in the hallway. I can see you in the mayor's office. I know I can walk into your office and sit down and dialogue with you. You know, and I know I can get numbers. You know what I'm saying? Not just ounces, but numbers. I know I can get facts with you. I just seen you get shoot out facts all the way across the board with no paperwork. And that's something that you want to worry about. And that's something you want to bring into your the mayor's office now. Someone that can shoot out numbers off the top of their head because they already did the homework before you got there.
And this would be the first mayor in all the cities of the 757 that will allow its citizens to do that. You follow what I'm saying? This guy right here, Danny Meeks. Norfolk doesn't do it. Virginia Beach doesn't do it. And all the other cities doesn't do it. Allow a person, a citizen, to come in and have a one-on-one conversation because of their concerns. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of other mayors, especially in Norfolk, can learn from this guy.
Wow, that's deep.
One question now for you, Rhoda.
Okay.
Do you see him not liking black people as you standing in his face now? Where the racists come from? Do you see it now?
No, he's. I mean,
right.
You know, hey, I call you biracial. You know, like I said, sitting here with him, he's not racist. It was no more than sitting with a regular black guy at the table. When I heard him speak, I could be on the telephone. I wouldn't even know you white, whether it's you white or not. But I know you're not racist. You know what I'm saying? It's not even about the color. It's not. It's not about the color of your skin. I know for a fact you are not racist. It's evidence that you're not racist. All your homies are black. It's evidence that you like white people because your wife is white. So it's not like you racist nowhere. You know what I'm saying? You're a white man with a white wife. You're a white man with black friends. How can you go wrong for that?
He grew around all of us. He grew up around all of us.
Somebody saying shelter versus new jail. I thought you spoke on that already.
When he spoke on someone said do the shelter, forget the new jail.
We gotta have both. We have to be able to have our inmates graduate back in society so they can have opportunity to be successful, as well as we need to habilitate the homeless and to give them the opportunity if they need to get back on their feet.
But just like Danny said, you know, you have to have those 501(c)(3)s. You know what I'm saying, to get involved with respect to the homeless people.
Well, let me ask you about the 501(c)(3)s. That's like the non-profit organizations. Let me ask you about that while we stay here. I ask you. The 501(c)(3)s, you got a lot of people that's out there with the 501(c)(3)s and they doing nothing.
But they don't know how to properly exercise. And one thing, I'll tell you this. I've always helped people get new businesses started, old businesses started, coming across issues, problems, because I have been in a lot of different situations in business. If they get a 501(c)(3) and they think that's a license just go do whatever, that's not the process. The process is you get your designation and then you start pursuing whatever that class you're going after. And you have to make sure when you get that, you broaden your class so you're not just single laned. A lot of people get it in their single lane so they don't qualify for 4 or 5 other different items. They have to be properly trained or not trained, or they have to go and make sure they get the 501(c)(3) for what a broad range of things instead of just one.
All right. And the kind of three guys, can we all say?
I swear I was about to ask him.
You want to answer what?
No, I was about to ask him about his turkey wings.
No,
you got to go to district.
Okay, all right. Oh, you got turkey wings today.
And look, I ate breakfast at Yoke yesterday. I took 3 of my buddies down there.
Oh yeah, Yoke saying
amazing.
Both restaurants. I mean, they got collars over there that are out of this world.
Wow. So you say Yoke on us? Is that more?
Yolks
on us? Is
They're
that
breakfast.
Breakfast, like a breakfast restaurant?
It's breakfast and lunch all day.
Breakfast and lunch all
But
day.
brunch, everything.
Okay.
breakfast and lunch all day.
Okay.
I mean, they put sugar or something in the eggs. Cause I'm gonna tell you, my kids, they went there. They asked but one thing we do as a family, because my schedule's so busy, we eat breakfast on Sunday.
Yeah.
And usually the wife eats. He invited us down, so we went down. And my kids, can we go back to that restaurant? You know, because it was both places, and you know. My thing is this, you know, we do these meet and greets and fundraisers and stuff, but I put majority of the money in my own campaign because I'd rather have somebody to be able to call them for support or answers or questions than them actually giving funds. And and also pushing somebody's business, you know, because I want every business to prosper.
Yeah.
Because if they prosper, the city prospers.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen. So. Count of three, guys. Can we say vote for Meeks? 1, 2, 3.
Vote
for Meeks.
Yeah. And one thing Dan is gonna do, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say, they're raising the meal taxes.
I'll kill that.
Yes.
First,
they're raising the meal taxes come January to 7%. We definitely need Danny to take care of that.
Right now, the candidate that's I'll just say his name, Shannon voted to raise your stormwater, your drinking water fees, your meals tax, and your meters. January 1, the first meeting we have in January, I want to pull all those taxes back that they voted in June. That's number one. Number two, they did a formula-based funding for the schools, and Shannon voted for that also. Formula-based funding is based on revenue. With the coronavirus, our revenues are down. So this year, our schools are going to be underfunded dramatically. And I need to kill that formula-based funding the first meeting we have in January also, so we can fully fund the schools, because we really don't know what it's going to take the second half of school with the coronavirus. And we want to make sure our schools are fully funded at whatever cost it is, because educating those kids is one of my main priorities. So the formula-based funding has to be killed in the first meeting, and we want to make sure we kill those increases of taxes that they proposed for January 1, and we definitely want to jump back on the disparity study to get that back in the first month that I'm mayor. All right, you heard that? They say Mr. Glover and them has voted to raise a whole bunch of different taxes, and Mr. Meeks said the first meeting they have when he become mayor, he gonna kill all that. Yep. Those taxes will not be imposed on these citizens here in Portsmouth, Virginia. Yep. Just like that. Taxes and tolls are killing the citizens. That toll is impacting every household by $1,200, and every business, every business is being impacted between $12,000 and $15,000. It makes it hard for me to want to come here and even do a story, because if I don't put money on my Easy Pass, I go to the tunnel twice. $7. Yes, it's like 14.
Well, see, is it?
Yeah, I'm like, gosh. Then by the time you get the bill, you're looking at $100, and you only been through the toll about 6 times, and you owe them $100.
And it affects specialty businesses that we have, like Yokes on Us.
Right.
District, they specialty businesses, like restaurants.
So people don't want to deal with the
people
toll.
don't want to come through the tunnel to do it, you know.
Yeah. Right.
TJ Maxx is not gonna bring them here. You know, it's a TJ Maxx in Chesapeake, it's a TJ Maxx in Virginia Beach. So when we have specialty restaurants like a District, like a Yokes on Us, you know, they're affected by their customers that want to come through the tunnel. You know? So, you know, the tolls are it's very important. They're very important, yeah.
Mr. Meeks say, go ahead and vote him in, guys. He can go ahead and kill a lot of these extra taxes they want to put on the citizens of Portsmouth, Virginia. Also affects the people of Norfolk, Virginia, because we got to come through the toll just to get to Portsmouth. Also, Mr. Meeks say he fought himself and spent $50,000 of his own money when they first started with the tolls in Portsmouth, Virginia, trying to fight them not to put tolls on our tunnel here in Portsmouth, Virginia. Thank you, Mr. Meeks.
Thank you.
I'm the infamous Miss Rhoda Young Life. Well, you did see it here first, before Wavy News 10, Channel 3, and also Channel 13 News. Mr. Meeks say vote for him on November 3rd if you want change in your community. He's the guy. Thank you, Rhoda, for having us today, and I just look forward to having our meeting when I'm mayor on November 3rd with you. Thank you. And I want to ask you if you can just promise me one thing, because I don't get this in Norfolk, that, you know, I'm the voice for the people, you know, and I have to receive that I am the voice for the people.
Yeah.
In the city of Norfolk, my mayor door is not open for me to come and give the citizen complaint. You know, you might can't meet with 100 people.
Nobody else either in the city. No, can't nobody see him.
Can't see them at all, you
No.
know. And I got a lot of complaints that people want me to address and
Sure.
bring to the table, and I'm hoping that you keep the door open that I can walk in.
I will always have the door open. I'm not just saying that. When I was on council, my door, I always met with people. When I'm mayor, I'll always meet. Because look, at the end of the day, you do this because you love the community you're in,
Yes.
and you want to see it strive to be prosperous. But and the only thing you have to make sure you keep in mind first are the citizens, because everything else is behind that. Because if you don't take care of your citizens, what are you gonna have?
Right, that part. That's deep. All right, guys. Until we meet again, vote for Meeks, Danny Meeks, for mayor in Portsmouth, Virginia.